Good afternoon and welcome everyone. We're going to begin our 45-minute beginner yoga class here in just a moment. I'd like you to make sure that you have a nice cushioned surface, whether that's a carpet or you can double up on your yoga mats with me. And of course have some water handy and comfortable clothing and preferably no shoes or socks. Of course you can wear socks if your feet get cold. And we're going to begin by just coming to a nice comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like to you. So you might be sitting back on your heels in that hero's pose where I just was, or cross-legged here with me in a lotus variation, or with the legs fully extended for staff pose to remove the twist in the knees and hips. And we'll start by sitting up nice and tall, lengthen through the crown of the head, tuck the chin. Feel the strength in your core muscles to keep you upright here. And we're just going to give the shoulders a big roll up, back, and down, and settle them down and back as far as they'll go. Your palms can face down or toward the sky. Now let's all take a deep breath in, down to the base of the spine, closing the eyes. And exhale completely. Feel the body supported by the mat, by the floor, by the earth. And now just for a moment, let's bring our attention to today's class and start by making ourselves that promise that we will not push too hard, that will honor any feelings of restriction, especially through the joints, that will maintain the lines of communication with the body, pushing forward when it's appropriate, holding back when it's appropriate, and offering ourselves a bit of a challenge in the meantime. Now let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Good. We're just going to start with a nice easy spinal roll down. So again, sitting up nice and tall to start, shoulders down and back. Good. Finding that perfect posture, and we'll inhale on the top. Exhale the chin toward the chest, slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time. So you can relax down through the upper back. You can bring the hands to the floor if you want to. And I want you to think about rounding from the belly button to the crown of the head. We're not yet tipping forward from the hips. So just think about relaxing down with your nose pointing more or less down toward your knees or toward your ankles. Good. Relax down. And if your hands reach the floor, you can extend the arms and press the chin toward the chest to really center that stretch through the upper back. As you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, relax down. Good, and then walk the hands back up. Good, and now bringing the fingertips to the floor beside us, we'll come into a little half moon. Inhale the left arm up toward the sky, sit up straight and tall first, and then we're going to exhale the palm of the right hand to the floor and bend the right elbow in toward the spine. Hold here for a moment, and I want you to think about bending from the belly button to the crown of the head. We're just easing into these first few stretches, so not working too hard just yet. And now let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, release the left fingertips to the floor. Fingertips only for now so that we don't lean down. Inhale the right arm up toward the sky, lengthen, check your posture first. And then we'll exhale the left hand to the floor and gently bend that left elbow in toward the body. Push the left hand into the floor to expand the right rib cage out to the side. Relax the bottom shoulder down and bring your top hand to the hip or behind the back anytime. Good, now let's inhale and come up. Exhale and release the arm. Now we'll do a quick back release down that center plane, grasping the knees or the hips if your legs are out straight. Inhale, look up, shoulders down, elbows in. Exhale, hands to ankles or reach straight out in front, curve and round, chin toward the chest. Inhale, hands to knees, look up, lift up, elbows in, shoulders down. Exhale, hands to ankles, curve and round, arms can lengthen straight out in front. One more time, inhale, hands to knees, look up, lift up, tuck the elbows in. Exhale, hands to ankles or straight out in front, curve and round. Good, and now let's sit up nice and tall and we'll come into our staff pose. So if you haven't already, we're extending the legs straight out in front and flexing the feet back toward the body. Now here I'd like you to press the backs of your knees down into the floor. We're sitting up straight and tall and sucking the belly button toward the spine, finding that perfect alignment and posture here. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, tip from the hip, and we're lifting our tailbone up toward the sky as we press the backs of the knees down into the floor to feel that deep extension through the hamstrings and calves and Achilles tendons. You can crawl the fingertips forward on either side of those feet if you like. Shoulders are way down, away from the ears. As you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, just ask the body to relax down. Good. Breathing deeply always. You can rock from side to side as you feel the body relax down into these poses if you'd like. Good. And now let's walk the hands back up. And we'll bring the right foot to the inside of the left calf or thigh. Let's square the shoulders toward the extended leg. Sit up tall, take a deep breath in. And then we'll exhale, tip from the hip, slowly walking the hands forward on either side of that straight leg. Arch the lower back up toward the sky. And just notice how your stretch changes when you have that knee bent. We're feeling that extension now through the lower back and the hip, rather than just the backs of the legs. You might feel the twist also through the knees. So as we move through a yoga class, we're not just stretching our muscles, we're also stretching our connective tissue, our tendons and ligaments and all that good stuff. So I want you to really pay attention. We're always prioritizing the joints, and we never feel any pain in yoga. No pain, no gain does not apply here. So we're looking to just ease into those stretches, breathing deeply, moving mindfully, and we press just a little bit past our comfort zone. Never too far, too fast. And now let's press back up, and we'll just rock back and switch sides. So again, we're still in our warm-up phase, so just easing into the flexibility in our joints and muscles. Sitting up nice and tall, core is strong. We find our posture first. Deep breath in. Exhale and tip from the hip, slowly walking the hands forward on either side of that leg. Relax the shoulders down, away from the ears. Arch the lower back just a little bit, lifting the tailbone toward the sky. As you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, notice where you can relax a little deeper into that stretch. Great. And smile, we're just getting started. Being mindful and in the moment is a great way to reduce stress. We feel stressed out when we're living in the past or waiting for the future, and we can just be at peace and relax when we're right here in the moment. Now let's walk the hands back, and we'll rock back and extend both legs once again, flexing the feet back towards you, sitting up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and tip from the hips, slowly walking the hands forward on either side of the legs. Press the backs of the knees down into the floor. Relax your arms. Relax the body down toward the legs. Make sure the knees don't pop up. Our goal is not to get as close as we can to the legs. The goal is just to feel the stretch in the backs of the legs, maybe also down through the lower back and hips. Great. And now let's press back up, and we'll roll over and sit back onto the heels for child's pose. So you can come down onto the elbows, you can rest the forehead on the fists or on the forearms, you can reach the arms straight out in front or bring them back by your sides. Just make it yours, and first I'd just like you to just play with this pose. You can rock from side to side if you'd like. Just notice where in your body is calling out for a stretch. If you have the arms extended all the way out in front, you can gently press the underarms into the floor if you want to open up the rotator cuff. Or you can turn the palms toward the sky and gently press the elbows into the floor, drawing the elbows back toward you. Breathe deeply, whatever modification it is you're doing. Now I'll invite you to come into the wide-legged child's pose or frog pose, drawing the elbows back so they're underneath the shoulders. We're going to push the elbows into the floor, part the knees, and here, if you're worried about your knee stability, the toes can point in. You might want to turn to the side in your mat so your knees are still on a cushion surface. And if you're not worried about the twist and you'd like a deeper stretch in the insides of the thighs, turn the toes out. And when we're there, we're going to sit back into the heels, whatever position we're in, looking for that deep stretch in the insides of the thighs. Now, you can stay here, or you can come with me and walk up onto the hands. This might be as far as you go, or you might want to sit all the way back and come up onto the fingertips. Now, this is a very deep stretch for those little tiny muscles on the insides of our thighs. It's also a very deep twist with pressure on our knees and hips. So make sure that you're using your upper body to control the depth of your stretch with the strength of your arms. And then when you're ready, you can stay up here, you can come down onto the elbows, or you can walk the hands forward and relax all the way down into the stretch, pressing the chest and chin toward the floor. They don't have to get all the way there. So notice how the focus of the stretch shifts when we shift the upper body. And also notice where you can relax. You might be here and want to rest your chin on the forearms or your forehead on the forearms. It's whatever's comfortable for you. And we're prioritizing the knees and focusing our stretch in the hips and inner thighs. Good. Breathe. And now let's bring the elbows under the shoulders and we'll bring those knees together and sit back into the heels. You can rock from side to side across the hips if you'd like. And we're just breathing deeply always. Great, and now let's press up onto the knees for our kneeling mountain pose. And we're going to come into a little modified warrior series, tall and open in the world. And we'll shift to the left leg down, stepping the right foot forward as far as is comfortable for you, and then pressing the hips toward the floor. So what I'd like you to make sure of is that in this position, our knee never goes past the ankle. If you come back here, this doesn't necessarily make it wrong. This is a different type of stretch that brings it down into the ankle. We might come there later, and here you'd want to support yourself on the fingertips. But for our purposes right now, that heel comes forward so that when you press down, the knee never comes past the ankle, and that's going to center our stretch in that left hip and thigh. Elbows come to the front knee, and we're just supporting our body weight so that we can make sure that our shoulders are not tensing up toward the ears, and we're not hyperextending the lower back. So coming down so the body's at the same angle as the back leg. Breathe. Now you can stay here, or you can curl the back toe under and lift the back knee up off the floor. If your fingertips need to come to the floor, that's fine. Just try and make sure that you're not making it more difficult to breathe when you come down here by compressing those lungs. So just notice how that feels to you. We should always be able to take deep breaths into the belly and rib cage, no matter what position we're in. Good. Sink a little deeper if you're able. Just ask those hips to relax down toward the floor, and just lightly support your position with the strength of your front leg and your upper body. You can push down into the front heel and feel those glutes and hamstrings engage, and that might allow you to relax the back leg a little more. One more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll bring that back knee back down to the floor. Now, let's reach behind us with the arm on the back leg side. This is going to bring in a little twist, which is going to deepen the stretch on the inside of the front thigh. If you'd like to take this further, straighten out the arm on the front leg side and deepen your twist with the strength of your upper body. Reach for that back wall and just settle into the stretch and notice where you're feeling it today, okay? So it should come deeper into the inner thigh. You might also feel it in that left shoulder as you reach. Your left hand can come to the hip or behind the back anytime if this becomes uncomfortable. And our front arm has the forearm on the inside of the knee. We're never leaning forward so far that we come up above the elbow. So keep that core strength to maintain your position. One more deep breath in. Exhale the hands down to the inside of the front foot. And you can just shift around, relax that hip flexor for a moment, take a little break, and then we're going to shift the weight to the back knee, lift the front toes up off the floor, turn them to the side, and shift forward once again. So now this is kind of a different deepening of the stretch for the inside of that thigh. These stretches are really important. Like I said, this is a runner series, so if you are a runner or a dancer, or especially anything that involves lateral motion, we want to make sure those muscles are always long as well as strong so that we never pull them or tear them. Good. And if you'd like to deepen this stretch, you can start by just rocking from side to side and then gradually lowering the body closer to the floor by bending the elbows in. Good. We always want to make sure that our shoulders are equidistant from the floor. Don't let one drop down closer than the other. You can also walk the hands forward as you bend the elbows in toward the body. Good, and you can always change your stretch, such as changing the distance between your front heel and your back knee, if that's more comfortable for you, or reducing the angle of the front foot, whatever you like. Breathe deeply into the muscles you feel stretching. And as you exhale, just ask them to relax. Great job. And now let's press up, and we're going to shift onto the back knee, straighten out the front leg, sit up tall, and flex that right foot back toward the body. We should be capable of lifting that front foot up off the floor because all of our weight is on the back knee, and I want you to tuck your tailbone and sit up tall first. Flex that right foot back toward you, hands come to the hips, and square your shoulders forward toward the extended leg. Take a deep breath in, sit up tall. Exhale, tip from the hip and lift your tailbone up toward the sky. And if you'd like, you can bring the hands to the top of the thigh, anywhere below the knee, to the ankle, to the foot, or to the floor. So we're bringing those hands, that pressure, down to anywhere except on or within 4 inches above your straight joint. That's the danger zone. Anywhere else is fine. You can rock your leg from side to side through that hip. And I want you to be mindful again of your posture. The body is straight like a board because that's going to affect our pelvic tilt. If we tuck the tailbone and come down, we can get our nose and our eyes a lot closer to the leg with no stretch at all. And that's not what we want. It's the quality of stretch that we're going for. So keep the body straight, lift the tailbone, and then once you reach the depth of your stretch here, you can feel free to round forward from the belly button to the crown of the head, making sure that you don't tuck your tailbone on your way down. Good. Breathe deeply into that stretch, and again, you can shift around. And if the flexibility of your left knee allows, you can even sit right back down on that left heel. It's a lot of compression for that joint, so just be mindful as you move. We never move too fast. And check too, as much as we can, our shoulders are squared forward toward the extended leg. If we come to the center, we're going to lose a lot of our stretch. So as long as it's okay for your spine, maintain that alignment. Breathe. Relax down as much as you're able. Good, and now let's shift forward onto the front foot and we'll step into forward fold. Relax down over the legs. Let the arms and the head hang. You can grasp the elbows and swing from side to side if you like. And now let's step the right foot back. Top of the back foot and back knee come to the floor to start. And we'll bring both elbows, or the left elbow rather, to the front thigh. And we're just going to touch the elbows with the fingertips, and that's going to show us that they're the proper distance apart, shoulder distance apart. Make sure your front knee never goes past the ankle, and we're just allowing our hips to sink down toward the floor here. Shoulders down and back, chest proud, neck long, and there's no tension in the neck or shoulders. We're just relaxing into this stretch wherever we can. Great. And if you'd like, you can curl the back toe under and lift the back knee up off the floor. Check too that when you come into this position, you don't allow the hips to open out to the side. That will be one of your body's protective reflexes to remove the stretch from the hip flexor so that you don't endure an injury. So it's a good thing, but we have to counter that in order to increase our flexibility. So square your hips forward, press them down toward the floor, tuck your tailbone, use those core muscles. Breathe deeply. Good, really good. One more deep breath in. Exhale the back knee to the floor. And now we're going to reach back with the arm on the back leg side, lengthening toward that rear wall. And if you'd like, you can leave that front elbow on the thigh for support, or you can straighten the arm out, deepening your twist by pressing the forearm into the inside of that knee. Check your shoulders are as wide as they can be and as far down as you can get them. Lengthen through the fingertips toward that back wall. And relax as you exhale. Good, keep smiling. One more deep breath in. Exhale the hands down to the inside of the front foot. Just set your position here. So if you need to, you can always widen the feet out. Always make sure that you shift the weight onto the back leg before you reposition your front foot to keep that knee safe. Once you've found your comfort zone here, we'll shift to the back knee, lift the front toes up off the floor, turn them to the side, and shift forward once again. And again, as usual, you can rock around. I encourage you to do that. If you feel like you've reached somewhat of a comfort zone, just start moving around in your stretch, because your body's going to need different things on different days. And we just want to be aware of what we're doing, how we feel in the movement, and relaxing as much as possible. Now here again, you can walk the hands forward and then the elbows in toward the body. Good. Just making sure those shoulders remain equidistant from the floor. Good. Check that your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Spine is long. Try not to let the chest cave in. Good. Great job, guys. And now we'll shift onto that back leg, straightening out the front leg, sitting up nice and tall. And all of our weight is on that back knee. We're tucking the tailbone to start, tightening up our core, sitting up straight. Take a deep breath in, hands come to the hips. Exhale and tip from the hip. Lift your tailbone toward the sky. You might notice which side is tighter, probably do by now. Hands can come to the top of the thigh, anywhere below the knee, to the ankle, the foot, or the floor. Good. And once again, think of arching your lower back and lifting your tailbone up toward the sky. You can shift around if you want to. And we're looking for that stretch beginning behind the knee, coming up into the hamstring and down into the calf. Nice deep breaths, and that front knee always feels safe. There's no pressure there at all. Good, one more deep breath in. And exhale, step forward into forward fold. Relax down over the legs. Again, you can grasp the elbows and swing from side to side. Relax the neck, let the head hang. And now let's bend the knees and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back, arms come out to the sides and overhead, little back bend. And release down through prayer. And release the arms. Excellent. Okay, so I encourage you to grab a drink of water on the way. And we're going to come into a little wide-legged series here. So stepping the feet wide on your mat, or you can turn to the side on your mat if you prefer. And when we come to our standing positions, just a reminder that our balance is going to be a little bit better when we're on a hard surface rather than a soft surface like our mat. So just keeping that in mind and acting accordingly. We're going to widen the feet out, wider than the hips, and as wide as you can comfortably go, and still be capable of rocking back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels. We like the toes pointed forward in the direction that we're facing. They can turn out slightly as long as both feet are pointed in the same direction. Let's begin by bringing the hands to the hips. Knees are off lock, so springy, just a little bit soft. Sitting up tall, I'd like you to tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, shoulders are way down and back, the neck is long and the chin is tucked. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tip from the hip, shift the weight into the heels, and we're lifting the tailbone. You can stop here, you can release the arms down to the floor if you'd like. You can relax the entire body down for our wide-legged forward fold. And I'd just like you to notice how this feels, especially for the knees, but also for the hamstrings and the hips, of course. Press into the outside of the feet and think of lifting the instep just a little bit, and you should feel that extension deepen on the outside of the lower leg from the ankle up into the calf. So this is a good example of where we're coming into those tendons and ligaments and even nerves that we're stretching. On a given day, you might get a little tingle through your heel, and as long as it's not painful for you, that's fine. Great, and now we're going to center the right hand between the shoulder blades as we come to nice and even all four corners on both feet. Inhale the left elbow up toward the sky. Exhale and reach with that arm. Shoulders are wide. Our weight is in the heels. We're not shifting onto that front arm. We want to keep that shoulder nice and safe. Good. Lengthen the neck. Arch the lower back just a little bit to deepen the stretch through the hamstrings. And if your knees are feeling unsafe or too weak, you can bend them slightly, no problem. Just make sure the weight stays in the heels. If you'd like to deepen the stretch through the upper back, you can take that top arm and wrap it around behind the body. You can rest the hand on the hip or on the back, or you can wrap it around and brace it on the opposite hip, or as close as you can get. Breathe into the stretch, and remember, you can release all or part of any pose anytime. This is always your class. Great, now let's inhale and reach up toward the sky. Exhale and release the arm. Let the body hang. Give the arm a break. Check in with your blood pressure in these inversions. I want you to make sure that you're never feeling dizzy or nauseated. And if you do, then you can come up and raise the head above the heart line, or come to standing, or come to sitting anytime. Now the left hand is going to come to the floor between the shoulder blades. Inhale the right elbow up toward the sky, and exhale, reach with that right arm. Suck the belly button toward the spine. Press the top arm back as though you'd like to touch an imaginary wall with the back of your hand. Widen the shoulders. Your bottom arm feels stable, but there's no pressure on that arm. If you'd like, that top hand can come to the hip, or it can wrap all the way around behind the back, bracing on the opposite hip. I'd like you to try and bring the stretch into the middle and upper back. And we're using our breathing to assist our stretch, widening the rib cage and expanding the belly on the inhale. And then deepening the stretch on the exhale, shifting into the heels and twisting more if it's comfortable for the spine. Great, now let's inhale and reach up toward the sky. Exhale, release the arm, and we'll relax down toward the floor. Good, breathe deeply. And now we'll bend the knees and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back. Work the heels and toes together just a little bit, adjusting our positioning. And we're coming back to set in our wide-legged pose for one last adductor stretch. So sitting up nice and tall. Good, shoulders down and back. Good, take a deep breath in. And we'll exhale, bend the right knee, tipping forward from the hip, shifting the weight into the heels. Right elbow comes to the right thigh. You can reach your fingertips toward the floor if you want to. Try and keep your shoulders lined up with your toes for now. And make sure that you're not turning toward the bent knee. That will decrease the stretch in the inside of that left thigh. If you'd like to increase the stretch, you can turn your shoulders toward the straight leg. Breathe. Make sure that spine stays long and straight, and the shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears as far as they'll go. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll straighten the legs, bend the knees, roll up, shoulders down, and we come to the other side. Once again, readjust your foot positioning if you need to. And we're sitting up nice and tall. Good, feeling our full height. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend the left knee, tipping from the hip, pressing the weight into the heels. Left elbow comes to the thigh, right fingertips can reach toward the floor. They don't have to get there today or ever. And we're feeling that deep stretch in the inside of the right thigh without compromising the inside of the right knee especially. You can turn your shoulders toward the straight leg if you'd like to deepen your stretch. Breathe into the muscles you feel stretching, and as you exhale, just ask them to relax. Great. And then we'll come back to center. Straighten the legs, bend the knees, roll up, shoulders down. This time, let's reach up toward the sky. And we'll release down through prayer. Release the arms, work the heels and toes together, and step the feet together, shake the legs out, grab a drink of water, whatever you need to do. And we're going to come through a couple of sun salutations, and then down onto our mats for our final relaxation. Good. So I'd like you to start by coming to the back of your mat. And just remember too, there's always modifications. If I'm not offering something that would work out best for you, if you have injuries or anything like that, then of course you can always ask. You can always leave in the comments, let us know if there's something that you feel was missed. Or of course you can just come to deep breathing and smiling, or any of our warm-up moves anytime too. So right at the back of our mat, we're going to find our feet, rock back and forth, standing nice and evenly on all four corners of the feet. Tuck the tailbone, core is strong, shoulders down and back, chest proud, neck long, chin tucked. And we want to feel just nice and tall and relaxed here. Good, we're not working really hard to maintain our posture, it's just kind of feeling natural. Now inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Relax down into forward fold. And now we're going to walk out into downward dog. Press the hands toward the floor, press the heels toward the floor. You can move the body more toward the legs as you exhale if you like. Breathe. And if you're just in forward fold, that's fine too, remember. Now let's inhale the right foot forward. You can use the front knee for leverage, or inhale the arms out to the sides and overhead. Sink a little deeper if you can. Now here we started at the back of the mat so that from a standing position you can step forward if it's not comfortable for you to come here from downward dog. If this is too much, you can lower that back knee to the floor anytime. You can reach the arms out in front or bring them across the chest or behind the back or to the hips anytime. Just make it yours. Sink a little deeper if you can. Straighten out the back leg as much as you're able. Lace up the core. Feel the strength and endurance in this pose. Feel your lower body working. Good, and in this style of yoga, I'd like you to have your back foot pointed forward rather than up to the side. Other styles will recommend a 45-degree angle, but that's not for our purposes today, so I'd like you to stay here, if you can. And if you're having balance troubles, widen your feet out to the width of the mat. That'll help a little bit. One more deep breath in. Exhale the hands down to either side of the front foot, and we're going to step back into plank pose, knees or toes. So one option is here, it's our highest intensity. You can drop the knees down for a little less. You can shift back into table pose for a lot less, or you can even sit right back in a child's pose if that's what you need right now. Spread your fingers, or you can come up into fists if that's more comfortable for your wrists. Push the hands into the floor. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. Never drop the head or the hips. If you can't help it, you're working too hard. So reduce intensity if you're not able to maintain your perfect form. One more deep breath in. And we're going to exhale, bend the elbows in toward the rib cage and come down through baby crocodile. So remember, you might be here with no pressure on the arms, and that's fine. Lowering the body to the floor and pressing up into your modification of cobra. So in cobra, we're lifting the body up off the floor with only the power of the back. We should be able to lift our hands without changing the position of the body. If this is not okay for your lower back muscles, you can bring the elbows to the floor and relax the back entirely and still get the extension. And if it's not okay for your spine, you can just rest right down, or again, anytime sit back into child's pose. Press your shoulders down away from the ears. Spread the fingers, pull them out back, and lift just a little more. Turn your heels in, make sure your toes stay on the floor. So this is another endurance and strength training pose here. Remember that you can always come into the relaxed phase. And tune in, mind-body connection. Shoulders are relaxed, while the muscles of the back are contracted. Now inhale, curl the toes under. Exhale, lift the hips toward the sky for downward dog. Breathe. Press the heels toward the floor one at a time, or roll around on the balls of the feet. Press the body toward the legs as you exhale. And remember that your knees can come to the floor anytime. Now inhale, step the right foot forward between the hands, left foot forward between the hands. Sorry guys. Switch sides. And we're going to use that front knee for leverage, or just reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. And we'll sink down into warrior one on our other side. Tuck your tailbone, lace up the core, and we really want to find that stretch in our hip flexor, maybe down into the quadricep on that back leg side. Straighten out the back leg as much as you can, or bring that knee to the floor anytime. Remember, arms can come down to whatever level is comfortable for you anytime. And the key is the deep breathing and the focus on how the pose feels rather than what's going on in the world around us or how we want a pose to look. Those things are not anywhere near as important. Sink a little deeper. Push into your front heel. Feel your strength here. You're doing great, guys. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down to either side of the front foot, and we'll step forward into forward fold. Relax down. Shift into the heels. Lift your tailbone toward the sky. And breathe. Now bend the knees and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back. Reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. Baby back bend. Exhale, release down through prayer. And release the arms. Oh, wonderful. So we're about to come down pretty soon into our final relaxation. I'd like us to just do a little bit of balance first. So again, of course, grab water anytime you need it. And we're going to come into our test of balance and then a little bit of balance practice. So I'd like you to possibly come to a hard surface if you're concerned about your balance capability today, or come closer to a wall or a piece of furniture. And just a reminder to you that we're always working with it, and just like our strength and endurance is going to change 1 hour of the day to the next, so patience. Rocking back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels. Let's settle in the center, nice and even on all 4 corners of the feet. Find your focus, anything 6 feet away from you or less that's not moving. Inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. And come up onto the toes. So again, if you want to challenge that balance a little more, then come to a cushioned surface. Relax your shoulders down. Remember that arm positioning is up to you, so you might want to reach out in front or out to the sides, or bring the arms across the front of the body. Good. Breathe deeply. One more deep breath in. Exhale down onto the heels and we'll fold forward, relaxing down the legs into forward fold. Good, and now we'll bend the knees and roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back, arms come out to the sides and overhead, and we'll again come up onto the toes. Good. Relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Now, if you're able to come into an intensity modification with me, focus your gaze, and we're going to inhale and bend the knees. Keeping the heels lifted, you can reach straight out in front if that's better for your shoulders. Suck your belly button toward the spine. Come down to whatever level is comfortable for you, as low as you're able to with the safety of your knees. And then we'll inhale at the bottom. Exhale, push into the balls of the feet. Good, keep the knees, hips, and ankles lined up. Lift up, reach for the sky, nice and tall. And then we'll exhale the heels to the floor. Fold forward and relax down. Great job. Okay. One more modification. Inhale, bend the knees, reach forward. Now we're going to exhale and sink down into the heels. So holding here just in Utkatasana, our awkward pose, just for a moment. So ideally, we like the body at the same angle as the legs, but if you need to tip forward further, that's fine. Make sure your knees, hips, and ankles are all lined up on a straight plane. And now I'd like you to push into the outsides of the feet and feel the muscles on the outsides and backs of the legs engage. Good, take a deep breath in. Exhale, now lift up onto the toes. Try not to move your body at all when you raise the heels. Sink down a little deeper if you can. Remember, you can release the pose and come into forward fold, or even child's pose anytime. Now let's inhale and reach up toward the sky, sink down lower if you're able. Exhale, push into the balls of the feet. Reach up, lengthen through those fingertips. And come down onto the heels, and we'll forward fold. Excellent, bend the knees, roll up, shoulders down, reach up, breathe in deep. Exhale, release. Fantastic, okay. You can work out the ankles, whatever you need to do, if there's anything you need to address. And now we'll just come into one balancing pose before we come into our, down to the floor again for final relaxation. So finding the four corners of your feet once again, and our full height, with the arms relaxed to the sides. Let's shift to the left foot and bring the right knee into position, grasping just below the knee, or underneath the thigh, or leaving that toe down on the floor. So it's all up to you. First thing I want you to do is push into the sole of your foot, engage the leg, including the glutes on that side. Tuck your tailbone, firm up the core, and take a deep breath into the belly and ribcage, whatever position you're in. Tuck your elbows in, sit tall. So this is a modified crane pose. You can even have your back up against a wall in this position. And you can try flexing that foot up toward the sky and just noticing how that feels for you. So again, just options for modification. Feel the back muscles engage. And we're breathing deeply. So our primary goal is just the practice of single leg balance. So if you're just standing on one leg with the other toes on the floor, that's fine. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the leg. And we'll work out the ankles. Great, now let's come along to the other side, standing nice and tall. Shifting to the right leg. Left leg comes into position. And again, you're grasping wherever is comfortable for you. That might be different from the other side, and that's fine. Good, so just finding your grip, and that might be toes on the floor and hands in prayer. Good. So just like our strength and our flexibility, your balance is going to change one side of the body to the other. We're just working with it, never forcing anything. Pushing into the sole of your supporting foot. Shoulders are down and back, and the muscles of the back and the backs of the arms are engaged. Right, breathe. Feel the strength in your supporting leg here. This is going to help with your overall balance and mobility in every area of life. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the leg, and work out the ankles. Good, so now coming to the back of our mat, and we'll come down onto the floor through a little bit of flow. So finding the soles of our feet once again, settling right in the center, feeling our full height with a strong core, and that's to about 30% of your max exertion. So we're not clenching really hard, we're just feeling that core work to keep us nice and upright. Shoulders relaxed, arms relaxed to the sides. Inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. Exhale, fold forward, relax into forward fold, one last time. Good, and now we'll just walk the hands out into downward dog. Press the heels toward the floor one at a time. Remember that you can come into child's pose right away if you want to, or just enjoy this last inversion, pressing the heels toward the floor, pressing the body toward the legs. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to floor, sit back, child's pose. Once again, arms out in front or back by your sides. Or you can rest the forehead on the fists or on the forearms, it's all up to you. And now we'll press up and turn around, sitting down on our mat. And we'll roll down, coming onto the back, and bringing the knees into the chest. Once you get there, I'd like you to just roll the knees around in a circle, one way and then the other. The neck and shoulders now, there's no reason for it, we don't have to hold ourselves up. See if you can relax the lower body altogether and just use the arms to control that stretch. Good. Okay, now releasing the soles of the feet to the floor, we're just going to finish off with a little bridge pose. I'd like you to bring your feet close to the body, as close as you can comfortably, and you should be able to just barely touch your heels. Your feet can be further away from you than that, but not closer, so that's our gauge. And your knees, hips, and ankles are all lined up on a straight plane. And then we're just going to relax the arms at the sides, lengthen the neck, press the shoulders down. Your gaze is toward the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, and just gently roll the back up off the floor, one vertebrae at a time. So do not turn your head when there's pressure on the neck. First of all, that's our safety there. And our goal here is not to get the hips as high as we can, but just to engage the glute muscles and find a little bit of a stretch and an extension through the back and through the neck. Now the neck stretch we get by pressing the shoulders down further, lengthening the neck even more, and pressing the back of the neck down into the floor as long as that's comfortable for you. If you'd like to deepen the stretch further, you can clasp the hands behind the back, working the shoulders under to open them up a little bit more. Good. Whatever stretch you're in, breathe deeply and smile. Make sure those knees, hips, and ankles are lined up and we're not feeling pain anywhere. Good. And now let's bend the elbows and reach the arms up above the body. We'll roll down one vertebrae at a time. Bring the knees into the chest, and you can bring the forehead to the knees for a full counter stretch if you like. Now finishing with our full body stretch, breathe in deep, reach out for the fingertips and toes, lengthen. Exhale, bring everything into the center, knees to chest, forehead toward the knees. Good, and again, breathe in deep. Reach out, expand, take up lots of space. Exhale, bring everything in. Squeeze all the air out of the body. One last time, breathe in deep, reach out, expand, and smile. Exhale, bring it in. And release the body to the floor. Now we're going to come into our final relaxation. So I'd like you to find some socks or sweaters or blankets or whatever you need to be warm and comfortable, as we will be cooling down now that we're no longer moving. And then I would like you to find your comfortable seated or laying down position, whatever that looks like to you. So, of course, if you're not comfortable, you can't relax. So you're welcome to sit in the traditional upright meditative position if you'd like, but it's not necessary. So I do encourage you, especially if you're not so familiar with meditation, to find yourself a comfortable space where you could even fall asleep and take a nap if you wanted to. So we'll start by taking a deep breath in, all the way down to the tips of the toes and closing the eyes. And exhaling completely, feeling the body relax down into the mat, into the floor. And now again, for a moment, bringing your attention to today's class and giving yourself that mental pat on the back for making it here and for making it through, and especially for listening to your body and choosing to be mindful and in the moment. Now we'll begin to relax from the bottom up. Breathe in all the way down to the balls of the feet, the arches, heels, and ankles, stirring up tension. Exhale it out, pressing it out of the body with focus. Breathe through the calves, the shins, the knee joints and thighs. Exhale tension all the way down to the bones. Breathe through the hips, pelvis, buttocks, and lower spine. Exhale, tension. Allow them to relax down into the floor. Breathe through the muscles of the lower back, side body, and abdomen. Exhale, tension. Feel everything slow down. Breathe through the middle and upper back, through the rib cage and solar plexus. Exhale, tension, allowing the heart and lungs to relax. Breathe through the collarbone, shoulders, biceps, and elbows. Exhale, feeling the arms relax at the sides. Breathe through the forearms, wrists, palms, and backs of the hands. As you exhale, allow the fingertips to let go of tension. Relax the muscles of the neck, through the top of the spine and the base of the skull. Relax the throat. Relax the jaw. Relax the muscles of the face, around the eyes, mouth, and ears. Relax the brow. And then release the breath, feeling the body resting on the floor, relaxing into Shavasana. Now you can rest here in meditation for as long as you like, or you can join me in coming back out. Bringing the attention back to the breath. Take a deep breath in. And exhale completely. Bringing the attention back to the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Move the wrists and ankles around in circles. And when you're ready, if you're laying down, you can bring the knees into the chest and make your way to a comfortable seated position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. We ran a little bit over time, but hopefully you were able to stay for that last little meditation. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope you can make it next time. Bye now.